Hi everyone, it's Rax. Season 27 starts on Friday, and the seasonal theme is they're going to drop Angelic Crucibles, which is going to let you make Sanctified items. That's going to let you make one of your items a Primal Agent and give it a superpower. I made a video a few weeks ago talking about how I thought the superpowers were going to go, but now we've tested it extensively on the PTR, and now we have the final patch notes. So now we can say with great confidence how powerful each one is for every class. So I want to go through very quickly and show you guys what are going to be the good ones and why you might use them. Now there is an incredible resource on Maxroll. If you go to the right side, the Sanctified items post right here from Mr. Chewy. He wrote an incredible guide that goes through every single Sanctified power and an in-depth overview of every single one. So if you want to read all of that, of course, by all means, check that out. But I'm going to go with this simple setup here written by Rob to cover them. So let's start with the Barbarian. The Barbarian, I think, pound for pound, has the very best powers. Hammer of the Ancients now hits all around you, and it sends out a shockwave whenever you swing, I believe, 10 times. So this is extremely powerful, makes Hoda a lot stronger, especially in group play, like as the trash clear. And when you're solo playing, you're going to have a decision. Do you take the Hammer of the Ancients power, or do you take the Whirlwind power? But either way, Hammer of the Ancients is probably the Barb's strongest build. So that, along with Rancor and Whirlwind's even good too. So you may really consider using this power next season. The Whirlwind ability is probably the best ability in the entire game. It pulls enemies infinitely, which not only gives you a massive attack for area damage whenever you stop and decide to attack, but also it gives you tremendous survivability. The monsters are always being pulled without any diminishing returns. This lets you destroy them. Many builds may take Whirlwind just to set up an amazing pixel to damage with area damage, like Hammer of the Ancients, for example. It also means that the Whirlwind Barbarian could be an incredible support class because it can just pull a whole festering right on top of each other, and then you can destroy them. The one thing that we don't know about this power is it used to have a lot of bugs. Whenever you drank a potion or leveled up or changed floors or procced a cheat death, anything like that, it's going to ruin your Whirlwind power for a while, and then you'll have to reactivate it. Hopefully they fixed that, but it wasn't in the patch notes. And finally, Wrath of the Berserker power is just going to give you just pretty much additional damage. So it's like a catch-all. If you use some other Barb build that doesn't use Whirlwind or Hammer of the Ancients, just take the Wrath of the Berserker power. Now, some of the very best clears on the PTR actually took the Wrath of the Berserker power, and they said, you want to know what? I'll play Whirlwind normally. I don't even need the extra pull. I'll pull myself with the Spear and the Stomp, and then I'll use Wrath of the Berserker just to get extra damage. So don't count this out, and don't be surprised if this ends up at the top of the leaderboards, especially in a build like Rancor. For the Crusader, we have kind of bad news. We have the Sanctified Fist of the Heavens power. Every 2 seconds it calls down a Fist of the Heavens, and that's okay if you're playing like a speed build with Fist of the Heavens, or if you're going to play Heaven's Fury and use it to auto-cast, then that's fine. But this is just too slow and not enough of a power boost to make either of these builds worthwhile. Let's skip Falling Sword for a second. The Blessed Hammer is only if you play the Blessed Hammer build. It crackles with energy, damaging enemies. Whenever anybody played this, it just did not seem to make a big difference, and the Blessed Hammer build is not good to begin with. So this is pretty bad too. And then the Sanctified Falling Sword summons Archangels from the sky. You can only have 2 up at a time. If you jump again, it's just going to refresh the 2 that you already have. The Archangels were extremely strong, so it looks like Blizzard nerfed it. And this is probably what you'll take for all Crusader builds. You'll probably throw Falling Sword into your build if you can fit it to get the Archangels going. But in general, these powers really don't help the Crusader at all. Moving on to the Demon Hunter, we start with Sanctified Vengeance. Vengeance is taken for almost every single Demon Hunter build, so that's the good news. The bad news is the rockets that it fires that are supposed to deal % damage of the monster's HP, they just don't seem to matter too much. I didn't see a buff in the final patch notes, so if you can't think of any other power to take, I guess take the Vengeance one, but don't expect to get too much out of it. For the Cluster Arrow, it's going to combine everything into an explosive, piercing ray of light. It has a very cool visual. and it does give Cluster Arrow a couple tiers of damage, so maybe this could be used for like the Marauder set, and that could be pretty good. But the one everybody is talking about is Sanctified Strafe. Strafe now casts last non-channeled Hatred Spender ability cast. So this is essentially like God DH, but for the spenders instead, right? And that combined with the fact that you can use it with the new Impale rune, I just released the guide yesterday. This build with strafing and auto-shooting Impales is incredible. It's incredible for solo farming, for group farming. It's incredible for RGKing. It's going to be very good at pushing as well. So that's the winner for Demon Hunters. Onto the Necromancers, we have Sanctified Death Nova. Hitting with Death Nova 5 times sends out spirits. Just never noticed the spirits doing anything. The Death Nova build is already so powerful. I think the idea there was probably correct in that the spirits were supposed to help with single target damage, but I never noticed them making much of a difference, unfortunately. Sanctified Army of the Dead. Enemies are constantly assaulted by the Army of the Dead rune. This is the build that was totally busted at the beginning of the PTR. It's still really good. It's still one of the very best, so those of you that are starting Necro, you can really look forward to this one helping you out. And finally, the Golem. It's going to gobble up the corpses and store 30 of them and let you move them around. It's going to let you use things like Corpse Explosion or summoning your mages or anything like that. Pretty much at full power whenever you want. It's useful. It's kind of an interesting little power, but I haven't seen anybody make tremendous use of this yet. So we'll have to see if somebody can come up with something clever when the season actually goes live. Onto the Monk, we have Sanctified Wave of Light. It summoned bells at the target. These bells are like obstacles. Then if you hit them with something that isn't Wave of Light, it detonates the bells. And these bells are incredible. Combine the fact that Wave of Light is probably already the strongest build in the game with these awesome bells that Blizzard gave them, you're going to be crushing. Summon the bells, cast your Cyclone Strikes, detonate the bells, blow everything up. This is a god tier power. Sanctified Way of the 100 Fists. The Way of the 100 Fists now uses the second round of its punch, which is a super, super fast punch. I think it was trying to buff Raymond, and they made some last-minute changes to try to buff Raymond again, especially since you start with Raymond. The idea was good there. I just don't think Raymond is going to be great either way, but I guess at least they tried. And finally, the 7-sided strike, it's going to be barraged with spiritual punches. This does make a difference for Yuliana. It does bring it up a couple of tiers. So those that like Yuliana and 7-sided strike and exploding palm, take this and you will notice a difference. Next, we have the Wizards, which also have some pretty good powers. Arcane Orb now periodically spawn around you, and they're going to orbit you, and you can throw them out to detonate them. This really helps for like DMO Frozen Orb. I played Shimizu DMO Frozen Orb, and it was actually a lot of fun, and it seemed actually really powerful. So this does give you a damage boost for the Frozen Orb builds. Magic Missile, it's too bad. It used to fire 20 missiles, now it fires 10. I don't think they nerfed it because it was too powerful. They nerfed it because it was too laggy. But the 10 Magic Missile Wizard is still really strong. So the 10 Magic Missile Firebird will do quite well. It can be a pretty good RGK, and it will push pretty high in the solo leaderboards. People tried some other combinations of like LOD Magic Missile or DMO Magic Missile. No, it's still Firebirds only. And finally, Storm Armor. This is the thing that was bugged, and it was one-shotting everything. After 30 seconds now, you're going to cast Storm Armor. It's going to send out a powerful Thunderbolt. It does like 10% of the damage on the Rift Guardian. If the other two powers don't help you, then this will help you at least get the Guardian down at the end. So it's not nothing, but it's certainly not one-shotting 150s like it was last time. Last but not least, we have the Witch Doctors, and their powers initially were terrible. Everybody cried about it, and then Blizzard changed it and buffed it. So Haunt, whenever you cast Locust Swarm, they're also haunted. And then when you cast Piranhas, all the haunted enemies get pixeled. And then the Piranhas summon Bogadiles, which instantly killed literally everything, including Rift Guardians. So this was reported, and in the final patch notes, Blizzard did not say that they fixed this. So hopefully they fixed the Bogadile doing this insane one-shot damage. But in case they don't, then we might have to sneak on over and play Witch Doctor if they didn't fix it, because it's totally busted. The Sanctified Horrify gives you an aura, it gives you 100% increased damage and makes you take less damage. This is a great generic power for whatever build you're playing if you don't want to use some of the other powers, so much better than what they had. And the Gargantuans summon zombie dogs. They gain the Restless Giant rune. The zombie dogs get all runes. And when they're hit by sacrifice, they're immolated and they take 100% more damage from your pets. So this allows you to sacrifice your zombie dogs because they're constantly being summoned in order to deal more damage. And then when they are sacrificed, they take more damage from your pets. And I believe Witch Doctors start with Helltooth. So this is going to synergize well. If you can get this power up and running in the beginning, your pets are going to do significantly more damage. Is it going to be an S tier build? No. Is it going to be way better than the normal Witch Doctor pet builds? Yes. Well, that was a quick little summary, guys, on the Season 27 powers. Remember, you're going to get these Angelic Crucibles to drop, and Blizzard doubled the drop rate from the PTR, so you will be getting them. You're going to make Sanctified Primal Ancients with these powers and hopefully dominate on your favorite class. The Maxroll Diablo 3 team has been hard at work. All the guides are being released. Make sure you read the full post by Chewy if you have any additional questions. And we can't wait to see you all in Season 27. Thank you.